Oy vey! This is a reaction to the WWE bomb that Jason Anderson posted on his Instagram. But no, all seriousness, we need to have some context. We had tempers flare at San Diego where Lawrence was offended by how Jason was racing him. He was racing him hard. He was holding his line, and he was arguably somewhat in the way at times, but they were both being somewhat disrespectful to each other by touching each other, but racing in a way that was definitely not a Vince Freeze, or sometimes you could argue Justin Barcia type shenanigans. With that being said, really nothing should have happened off the track. And since it did happen off the track, both riders got fined. And then we learn that Jet posts, hey, I apologize. I'll pay your fine. Eventually, later, we find out that Jason Anderson decides to post some inside information, Willie, saying, first things first, my man Jet comes at me, passes me, and he beats me. Yes, he beat him. This was for 4th and 5th place, and then he barks in my face. Jason barks back. That's why he got the fine to begin with. Yes, people argue about that, but truthfully, if somebody lays hands on you, you shouldn't lay hands back on them, especially in a professional sport. There's consequences to things of that nature. Behind a bar, oh yeah, fair game, right? That goes back to the whole preschool stuff. As long as you didn't start the fight, little Mr. Hopper, whatever, then game on, right? Fist pump from dad, whatnot. But from the public's eye, that's just how this economy and society works right now. There's that saying that I will go back to, that strong men create good times create weak men, and then weak men create bad times. You fill in the blanks what kind of society you believe we are in at the moment, but I digress. Jason goes on to say that he apologizes from a post that was written by, I'm assuming, Lucas Myrtle, his agent, and then he unfollowed him on Instagram and hasn't said anything. And then Jason digs a little bit more of a WWE style by saying King won 72 races and he kept it 100 till this day. Jet, you will be amazing, but you'll never be the king. 71 to go. And my point here is this is an altercation between men. You've got a grown man, and then you've got a young man. And the young man knows motorcycle racing. That's all he knows. He's a superstar. Yes, has he had trials and tribulations? Of course. This is a little bit of the little Deegan phenomenon where you've got huge shoes that you're trying to fill, but you don't have the experience. So you're leaning on the experience of others to try to help you get through. Where Jason, he's made big mistakes in the past, and therefore he learned from them, and he's a much older, wiser man that knows that there's a life beyond motorcycle racing. He has a family, and this is potentially, I read this as a teaching moment for Jet, and also a little bit of a stick in your face because, you know, they are gladiators. They do risk their lives day in and day out every time they swing a leg over there. The community is 100% behind Jason by speaking out, because there's something, again, with this society where having the courage to be disliked is incredibly rare. Everybody wants to fit in because it's bred into us from an early innate physiology, from 200,000 years of evolution. I'm not going to get into whether or not you believe in evolution or not. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point is that the lone wolf dies while the pack survives. So most people would rather be in a pack than singled out. So there's mad respect to Jason by saying how it is. And you know, his sponsors on some things that he has posted have gotten him into trouble. I believe his teammate, Adam Cincerillo, who is bred for TV. That guy should be in the booth. He should be on the floor. He should be announcing after racing. He had a podcast, and I have heard that the podcast was removed from corporate sponsors, per se. Is that true? I don't know. It's hearsay. However, these comments are incredibly funny. If you want to head over to his Instagram, you can read all of them. I won't cover them here. It is ironic that with everything going on between Jason and Jet, you've got Sexton essentially apologizing to Cooper, saying he didn't mean to impede the race that was going on, that he clearly wasn't in. His intentions were to move over in the next corner. Well, I do think if any of this has taught us something, it has taught us that with the amount of clout that these racers have, we need to have a little bit of critical thinking to know that there is agents behind these high-profile athletes, and not everything that is being shared is entirely the whole story. There's always more that we do not see behind closed doors. And these guys do risk everything out on the track, and it has to be incredibly difficult to be scrutinized by what happens off the track in their own personal life as well. So keep that in mind next time you want to write something on the internet. I might end by saying that 7% of communication is words, which essentially mean absolutely nothing. You can say nice things and still have an FU tone, because 56% of human communication is tone. That is the primary way we respond to somebody, is through our tone, right? And if you have this level of tone, it doesn't matter what you're saying. You're basically going, hey, this is getting serious. And then 36% of it is body language. So keep that in mind next time that you want to talk with somebody. It means very little what you say. So I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. And this is leading up to a great narrative, because how do you vanquish enemies? Well, you say nice things about them and you ignore them. That's simple as that. Every single altercation that happens in motorcycle racing, it gets handled on the track, because off the track, it does nobody any good, and it's just a racer's nature. These guys are bred to fight as soon as the gate drops. So, yeah, you get these guys in a room, things are going to get incredibly egotistical, I would say. I do give it up to Jason for, again, keeping it 100 with jersey untucked in the whole shebang. It's interesting to watch, and we'll have a good race come A3. There's a lot of pressure on Jet. He has an opportunity to shut everybody up if he can just come up with a W and do the Ken Roczen thing. By don't really say much, just get out front, put yourself in a good position, don't look back, win, and there you have it. There's so much more that I would like to say, but I will leave it at that. Till next time, keep it WFO.